Hey folks, how you doing? This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast for the 9th of February 2015. How are you? Holy crap, do I have a lot to talk about today. First of all, let me preface this before the obligatory break at the 5 after mark. MK Ultra. Go to startpage.com, look that up. MK Ultra. Also look up United States Psychological Operations. Let me tell you something here. I've read a lot for information, catching up on information for this particular podcast, and I got to tell you, people are telling you, specifically MK Ultra, all of that. Basically, let me boil it down for you. The propaganda machine is running overtime and telling you things that absolutely positively they want you to believe, which of course, bottom line is, none of it exists. Okay? None of it exists. Go back and go look up the RAND Corporation, R-A-N-D, RAND, not Rand Paul, you'll get a lot of that, but look up RAND Corporation. Look up Rockefeller Foundation. Look up all these other things. And let me specify this to you specific Christians out there who seem to think that everything is of the devil. When you're indoctrinated with something, specifically a lie, for so long, you begin to believe that lie. You begin to as the lie is perpetuated by someone else, you then begin to believe, oh yeah, now because there's trigger words, there's certain things that are said, they understand the psychological operations because the churches were taught that. Okay? Now, when you go independent and when you completely get away from any type of mainstream denomination, you will see that. You will understand that. You will notice a flaw. And that flaw is real. And that flaw is pretty much your way, that opportunity, if you will, to learn what's behind the curtain, who's pushing the buttons and pulling handles. Let me specify something here. Today, hopefully I'll get to all these, but today I'm going to talk about how MK Ultra, how the United States of America, how all that is, and all the people involved are literally testing the waters of tyranny when it comes to the United States of America. Okay? And I'm going to say this. If for some reason you don't believe it, I don't know what else to tell you. I'm going to talk about the Illuminati illusion, again, MK Ultra, conspiratorial controversies, and mind games, CIA PSYOPs Central. So I'm going to give you as much as I can about that today. I may go off on a rant somewhere, but, that's just the way it is. So I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to go a little bit early for the break, and so I shall be back. Don't go away. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, even if you disagree with me, I want to know why. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. I shall return right after this. This is the American Liberty Radio Network. For the best in independent music, Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz is your station. RadioRockTheBlitz.blogspot.com. The Red Pill Radio Show with your host, Ashley Jones, on the Alternate Current Radio, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific. on AlternateCurrentRadio.com. Hey folks, how you doing? This is the Wayne S. Beer Show podcast for the 9th of February 2015. Hey, I want to make sure that you understand where I'm coming from in all of this, and I'm going to try to simplify it for you. First of all, everything that you've been taught is a lie. That's number one on the list. Everything that you've been taught is a lie. Now, well, you know, some people are going to have the excuse of, well, it wouldn't be in the papers or the history books if it was. Really? People can write anything they want, folks. The enemy is going to say they won when the victor stands there going, what? You didn't win. We were the ones that win. Do you see the guy in the marathon around the track that came in second saying that he won? No. Anyway. I don't want to complicate it any more than what you believe it is, but I will say this. You've all been lied to. Am I right? Am I wrong? You have to judge that yourself. I put together the information that I can to present it to you, and I encourage you to go look this stuff up yourself. Who's right and wrong in that? To me, logic, that's logical. 1 + 1 still equals 2 in my book. So for you to go out and check this information out yourself is, well, your responsibility. I can't throw you on the ground, pull your arm behind your back, and say you're going to believe this because, hey, I may have overlooked something. You may want to share with me something that I may have overlooked. Well, that's okay. But remember, Rockefeller Foundation, Rand Corporation, all of these other sociological corporations that were, let's just put it this way, co-opted by the federal government in their massive mainstream universities, and now they're teaching us bullcrap. Okay? It's bottom line. I don't care where you're at. You can be in Leningrad, Russia. It's the same thing. You can be in Sydney, Australia. It's the same thing. It's all over the world. It's not just specifically in America. It's all over the world. Okay? So, there you go. That's one thing. And the waters of tyranny have been stepped into by some very incredibly, let's put it this way, nasty individuals. Okay? Now, they didn't get this way on their own. They were taught how to be tyrannical, that to have control over people is the way to go. To subject people into your little tiny delusional kingdom is the way to go. To control people on every level is the way to go. Can you say MK Ultra? Can you say CIA PSYOPs? Because this is exactly what is happening. And a lot of people don't see that. Now, Mark Dice and a few other people talk about the Illuminati. Yeah, they exist. It's a group of people that run Hollywood, that run New York, that run, I can go on and on and on. But they're not running it for any specific reason to, well, no, let me rephrase that because there's several things that you have to look at. One, let me rephrase that and say that they're running everything to subjugate you in such a way to where they control every aspect of your life. Number two, they control Hollywood to put the propaganda out there so that you can, have an idol. I can go with Katy Perry, Jay-Z, Kanye West, whatever. They do that. Oh, but wait, there's more. Not only do they do that on the dark side, if you will, they do that on the light side as well. The Rand Corporation, MK Ultra Minions, the Rockefeller Foundation, all of this have put together a system which has, instead of being independent like you and I are individually, they put together a corporation. Hold on to that word, folks, because I'm going to get to that here in a minute, which brings together people in one accord, in one place, to bring people together for a kumbaya moment. They put together Religion Incorporated. That's my words for it. Religion Incorporated. Because, folks, if you go to church, any church in America, you will notice that they have had to sign a 501c3. Okay? For the IRS, which is illegal in itself, for the sole purpose of propagating their own religion, if you will. It's also been on record for quite a while, since the early 2000s. But I've known about this since 95, 94, 95. That there was this, they have a term for it now, but I knew of it in a different way back in 94, 95. But now they term it clergy response teams. Your churches are infiltrated by the federal government, by the Rand Corporation, by the Rockefeller Foundation to come in and indoctrinate you with lies, 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 period. Now, don't give me this crap, oh, well, they're talking about the Bible. Can you say controlled opposition? That's mainly what it is, controlled opposition. Let's put it this way in a more simple fashion for you to understand. You have two friends. You're standing there with your two friends. You have one friend go in the other room and do whatever. I got to talk to my friend here. You walk away for a minute. I'll come get you. Hey, just go over there. You tell your friend, hey, my friend over here, he's really, he's got this idea that you hate him. He does, and he really doesn't. But he's got this idea that you hate him, and I know that's not true, but he's got this idea that you hate him. You understand where I'm going with that one, folks? So anyway, the other friend comes back into the room. You tell your friend you were just talking to, hey, go off. I'll catch up with you later. And you tell this other person that you had go wait in the other room, this guy really likes you. But he doesn't know how to tell you. And, I think he might be gay. And I think he might have something for you. Wait. Time out, folks. Let me tell you. Let me explain this to you. There's trigger words that were built upon a psychological foundation of hate, fear, separation, and a complete division of humanity. What's the first thing that goes through your mind when you hear someone say, oh, he's gay? Immediately your visceral reaction is, oh my God, that's terrible. Well, in this scenario, hypothetical situation scenario, fake fiction scenario that I just talked about, the one person who was told, hey, that guy over there might be gay, he might all of a sudden have a visceral reaction of, oh my God, that's just sick. Now, the other guy that he talked to before, that you talked to your friend before, you said, he might, he thinks you hate him and, that kind of thing. And you keep pushing that trigger word of hate. And guess what? You cause division because one person's going, oh my God, that's sick, whatever, when he's not. And that's a complete lie. Of course, the guy's not gay. He's straight as an arrow. But the other guy's going to go, why does he hate me so much? Because he thinks you're something you're actually not. So let me break this down for you, folks. The federal government thinks you're something that you know you're not, and will supply the information to you to keep propagating or propping up that false idea that you are something that you know you're not. Therefore, they can come along and control everything about you. Now, how are they going to know? Can you say Facebook? Can you say Samsung TV? Can you say Google Plus? Can you say artificial intelligence? Can you say, you've probably got a few more that I've overlooked. You understand where this is going, folks? Do you understand? Tyranny begins by breaking down society in such a way to where there's division between people. Here, greatest example, Roman Empire. Go check that out. Startpage.com. The fall of the Roman Empire. How did it happen? It was corruption from the inside that corroded the minds of people that were there and really, really tore apart the civilization. And there was factions because the lies were perpetrated and the propaganda was out there and all this. And all of a sudden, you've had groups of people going, oh my God, they're doing this, when they weren't. Or you have another group of people that say, oh, look what they did. It was a false flag event that just caused everybody to rally together to support their troops, their country. And so, it went from there. But go look it up, startpage.com, The Rise and Fall of the Roman Empire. There was a book out by that name, by the way. It won't tell you exactly the truth, but if you go back into the Illuminati and the secret societies, you will see how the fall of the Roman Empire started. Okay? So, testing the waters of tyranny, it's real simple. Our government looks to you as if you're stupid, and even if you're smart and have a relatively high IQ, they're going to use trigger words that you know about to try to corral your thoughts into this little portion of intellectualism, and they're going to feed you little bits and pieces to try to build you up in their image. Sound familiar? Now, I don't want to hear it anymore. There's a lot of people out there who say that, this is not true. There's no tyranny in America, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there is. There's been tyranny in America since 1871, and the Act of 1871 proves it. Go look it up. Go read it. You want more tyranny? How about the United Nations? The Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Go look at Article, I think it's 28, 29, and 30. Now, a lot of people, of course, let me put this out here. A lot of people may be connecting dots that shouldn't be connected, or may be connecting dots that don't really connect. Okay? So let's put that out there as well. Just so you'll be well-rounded in your research, okay? I'll be back. Don't go away. There's more to come right here on the Wayne S. Pure Show podcast for the 9th of February, 2015. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. A Day in the Life. New West Theater, in association with Eastland Radio Theater, presents A Day in the Life. Day in the Life is a series that reveals the very heart of the people and their daily lives. Each person has a story to tell. Each story is a snapshot of what people are going through or have seen at the time. It is truly a day in the life.
Hey there, I'm Big Tiny, and I'm the host of Big Tiny's Oldies and More. And we're playing music that you just love to hear from the 50s to the 90s. So check us out Monday through Friday and see what we're playing right here on Spreaker.com.
This is the American Liberty Radio Network. Radio Rock 92.6, The Blitz, your station for everything independent, from music, movies, books, and so much more. You can be a part of the fastest growing station on the internet. Help out today. For more information, go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com. Folks, how you doing? Welcome back to the Wayne S. Peter Show podcast. So, I hope I cleared up a few things in the first segment. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of things we need to be looking at. And, I touched upon the Illuminati a little bit. If you want more about the Illuminati, please go check out Robert Bruce over at wakingupthemasses.com. Please go check him out. You want to hear about like every little thing that is what the Illuminati is and all that and secret societies. You go listen to Mr. Robert Bruce over at wakingupthemasses.com. Okay? Awesome dude. I like him. Conspiracy theories. Let's go there, shall we? I don't have conspiracy theories. I have facts. They're facts about conspiracy that the United States of America has perpetrated upon the masses of this country. Now, let me point something out. Okay, let me point something out. Not every single conspiracy is bad. Because when you look at the word conspiracy, it's where two or more people get together to plan something destructive for, against somebody, right? But not all conspiracies are bad. But mostly the word conspiracy is a throwaway word which people who have absolutely no idea what's going on will always use, namely the mainstream state-run media. So when you look at conspiracy theories, when you look at what is going on behind the scenes as far as quote-unquote conspiracy theories are concerned, you're going to see a lot of people. Imagine you're in an office and 50 people are running around with papers in their hands and scripts in their hands and cameras in their hands and all this, and they're saying, we got to get over here and do this, we got to get over. Yeah, that's pretty much what is going on behind the scenes at a mainstream state-run media outlet trying to, let's put it this way, perpetrate, stand on, continue with the Hegelian dialectic and try to divide you from the truth and the facts. So what they're doing is they're saying, yes, I heard this over here, and from what I found out, well, let's just say it's this. That's what the mainstream media is doing. The mainstream media, the state-run media, is looking at anybody like Michael Savage, Alex Jones, Glenn Beck, all of this, and saying they're conspiracy theorists. Why? Because their narrative and their orders coming down from George Soros, Media Matters, and all the others are saying you will read this script, you will put this out, and that's what you will tell the people, and you won't tell them anything else. And those reporters, quote unquote, those commentators, I call them, literally there have been at least a half a dozen that I've seen on YouTube already quit major networks because they know they were lying to the people. So I don't want to hear it anymore. State-run media is trying to suppress every single fact there is about how this country formed, what this country is about, and what the future of the United States truly is. They're lying to you, always have and always will. There is not one moment that goes by in your local and national cable news networks that they are not lying to you. They're continually, let's put it this way, they are continually lying to you. And I got a nickel, and I can bet you my nickel that when those commentators leave those offices and leave those studios, they're going to go, man, that was a bunch of bull crap. They don't believe what they're reading off of the teleprompter, but they can't say anything because they like their cushy, they like their cushy job. I don't know how much they make, but yeah. So that is why American Liberty Radio Network shares the truth, one fact at a time, with all that, without all the BS. Okay? Because you don't want BS. You want the truth. You want the facts. You want 1 + 1 = 2. You want 5 × 5 = 25. You want the real truth. Not the crap that they spew on your freaking TVs. Okay? But also, let's take a look at this. The conspiracy theories, I use that in air quotes, that are out there, I would even go as far as saying about 20, maybe 25% of what you hear in that field of conspiracy, quote unquote, theories is a bunch of bullcrap. Okay? Just a bunch, because, and look this up too. Look this up, startpage.com, COINTELPRO. Look that up. Look up Hegelian dialectic. Look up controlled opposition. Yeah. You go look those up. I would even, and I've said it, and now it's on record, 20 to 25% of all conspiracy theories that are out there in the independent alternative media, 20 to 25% of conspiracy theories, quote unquote, are complete and utter lies. So even the independent and alternative medias are filled, and probably, I shouldn't say filled, some of them are probably controlled opposition. I got a dime in my pocket, and I can bet you that dime that even people who are well awake have had people come to them and talk with them and say, well, yeah, you can talk about this all day long, just don't touch this subject over here. Prime example, Glenn Beck. I like Glenn Beck. Don't get me wrong. I like the guy. I hope, his health is kind of, suffering a little bit, and I hope he gets better. But when he was on HLN, yes, I followed him that long ago, he was stating literally that it gets to the point where people, you and I, are going to have, or we're going to bring in our pitchforks and torches and we're going to take care of business. That's not his words. That's the interpretation I got. And guess what? People sent him to the studio at CNN, pitchforks, and I mean, pitchforks, not torches, but pitchforks. They were all in bins around him. He goes, look what I received. Then he went over to Fox and he started nailing every single thing down. And if you check out the history that he talks about and the people that he talks about, you can go back on YouTube and look at Glenn Beck, Fox News, Fox Business, whatever it is. And you look at those elements that he talked about, he was right on 100%. Right on 100%. Now, he came on Fox and Friends on, I believe it was a weekday. And he said, I'm going to reveal this. And he was talking about, pardon me, but I totally forgot what it was he was going to talk about. The government, he was going to, really expose a whole lot of stuff. Let's just put it that way. You can go back, listen to it. And you can go and look Fox and Friends up on the internet. Glenn Beck, Fox and Friends. You can go to YouTube, check that out. He said that again on his radio show, that he's going to reveal all of this. He's got some stuff he's going to reveal, but, he was talking about FEMA camps. There's FEMA camps. He said that on Fox and Friends. He goes, I'm going to reveal that. I have information, which Alex Jones sent to him, by the way, and he's going to reveal that they exist. He said the same thing on his radio show that very day, later on in that afternoon. That evening, I watched his show because I used to watch Fox at 5 p.m. Pacific. And I literally, 2 p.m. Pacific, sorry, it was 2 p.m. or something like that. It was on, and I watched it. And I saw him come on, give his little monologue he does. And then he said, well, on today's show, I was going to reveal something, and then he stops. And he says, there are FEMA camps. But then he stops and goes, no, there isn't. Then he walked to the camera, winked at the camera, and said, they told me to say that. And then, somewhere about 2, 3, 4 months later, he leaves Fox News. He wasn't fired. He left because people got to him. He left because the pressure was on him not to reveal too much. Considering the fact that he revealed that 10% of Fox News is funded by a Saudi prince out of Saudi Arabia. Okay? So he went on and he does what he does now. He talks about upwards to certain things and then he stops. Not because he doesn't want to reveal it. It's because he's giving you key words to pay attention to. And he's saying, yes, look at this. Hello. It's not secret, but check this out. And he did. And if you go back last year and listen to some of his broadcasts, you'll hear him say to his partners, Pat and Stu, that are on the show as well. He says, hey, we better not get too far into this. They'll take us off to the camps somewhere. And he's not making a joke about that. He's literally being serious. So, controlled opposition? Or did the government come along and say, hey, Mr. Beck, you can say whatever you want, freedom of speech, but just don't talk about this over here, okay? I'm just saying, don't talk about this. We understand that, I'll tell you what, I'm sure they had something on him. In other words, something to do with family, friends, work, profession, whatever. I'm sure. And it wasn't until he left Fox, he even says it himself over at Fox when he was over there working and doing that. He was having this neurological problem. And then it wasn't until afterwards that he went and opened up his own network that he found out how sick he was at the time. And the doctor's like, how are you still alive? Was he poisoned while he was at Fox? Did something happen at Fox or CNN where he, it's interesting that he says that he wasn't sick at CNN, HLN, he was sick at Fox. Why? Interesting, would you not say? So the bottom line is, I look at it this way. The bottom line is, you've got to do your own research. You've got to do your own research. That's just the way it is. And I simply put it to you this way. I live by part of a rule that says anything equals anything equals anything. And I change that around, remodel it a little bit, and say this. If you don't know anything about anything, don't say anything. Okay? Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is stupid. So if you have a philosophy of, ignorance is bliss, or you walk around and look at people like me and say, I don't want to hear it, I don't want to hear it, their excuse will be, I don't want my day ruined. Well, it already is. Why don't you pack your crap, go off, live out somewhere in the valley, somewhere alone, no technology around anywhere, because you don't want to hear anything. You don't want to hear how bad things truly are. You better learn how to hunt while you're out there. You better learn how to fish while you're out there, because you got to take care of yourself. You're not going to be anywhere near a city where you can drive to the nearest Walmart to pick up your groceries. Okay? I might be over-exaggerating just a little bit, but you know where I'm coming from. You can go to Pakistan right now and you can see these wonderful people who really enjoy living with one another and enjoy the camaraderie they have, the friendships they have, and you can see all of this, but when you mention America, they'll look at you with such disdain that they want to rip your face off. Okay? You can go to Iraq and see these wonderful families and kids and everything, but you mention America, they want to crucify you like the Jews did with Christ. Well, the Jews didn't do it. Go back and do your history, folks. Do your homework. You can go to places like Russia and you'll see those people, and you can sit down with those people and probably get a very good, feel for them. Yeah, they have families, they have friends, they have, all this, but you mention America or you mention Russia and Vladimir Putin, I guarantee you they're going to look at you and and keep their mouth shut. You can do the same thing in Canada. You do the same thing in China. You can do the same thing in Mexico. You can do it all over the place. America is seen as a pariah. America, the United States, is seen as the most destructive nation in the world, with the biggest police state in the world. And there's a majority of the people here, I'm going to say 75% of the U.S. citizens understand this, know this, feel it, see it, and live it each and every single day. The other 20 to 25% are sitting around going, give me a beer, give me my recliner, and give me ESPN. Because they really don't care. They're the ones that are saying, I don't want to hear it because I don't want it ruining my day. Okay? You could probably go to England and hear the same thing. Okay? Contact me. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, even if you disagree with me, show me why. I may have overlooked something. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. That's the email address. You can send your stuff to American Liberty Radio at USA.com. I shall return right after this. New West Theater, Reno, Nevada is looking for you. If you're an actor or an actress in the Reno, Sparks, Carson City area, please contact New West Theater at New West Theater at USA.com. New West Theater at USA.com. Go to newwesttheater.weebly.com for more information. Angel Clark, enlightening and provocative, and always giving you her opinion on current events. The Angel Clark Show, RadioFreedom.us. This is the American Liberty Radio Network. Hey folks, how you doing? This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast. Little show note for you. The Views Express Live is taking a little hiatus. It's just taking a little hiatus. I'm remodeling the network again, folks. Just, hey, you put up one wall, you got to put up another one, right? So anyway, there you go. So we, as if I have a mouse in my pocket, I'm changing things to give you more of a broader view of different articles, different subjects. So if you want to be a part of sharing your information, you can do that. Send your information to American Liberty Radio at USA.com, American Liberty Radio at USA.com. If you're in England, please let me know what's happening over there. If you're in Pakistan, let me know what's happening over there. If you're in, well, I don't know if Russia gets the internet, but if you know of anyone in Russia that you can talk to and share that information with me, please do. Or the Ukraine or whatever. We'll just go from there. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. I could go on and on and on and on, but the psyops of the CIA and the federal government are so ensconced into society that I don't think there's enough. I'm going to say it this way. There's about 25% of the United States citizens who are saying everything's just fine, and they're fully ensconced in this New World Order idealism. Okay, this collective communitarianism. It sucks, trust me. And the rest of us know what's going on, and we're trying to share that with everybody else, and they're going, nah. And in the process of all that, our federal government, our Washington, D.C., we need to cut that off and throw it in the Atlantic. They've opened the borders to everybody coming into this country so that they can shut our voices off. That's their goal. Shutting down the opposition to tyranny. That's what they want. Now, if you don't believe that, history will show you that. You need to do your homework. Okay? And this goes back far back, even in the Chinese dynasties years ago. All right? There's opposition to a tyrannical government, to a one leader, to this, to that. There's always going to be opposition to that because people want peace, freedom, liberty, and security in a nation. And that's the only thing that works, folks. Peace, freedom, security, and liberty in a nation works, and it helps build a more positive country. And with that, you'll have better ways of trading, better ways of dealing with things. It's logic, folks. 1 + 1 = 2. And that's the way it is. And if you want to continue to think that everything's just fine, well, it's not. Okay? And if you want to continue that everything is just hunky-dory, well, it's a hunk, but it ain't dory, I can tell you that much. Now, I want you to email me because I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. Or Twitter, if you are so inclined to use that, Twitter.com. Go, Twitter.com at Real, R-E-A-L, W-S Pierce. At Real Whiskey Sierra Pierce, P-I-E-R-C-E. You can send me stuff there as well. What's going on, links, whatever you want. But the better way to get a hold of me is American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. Okay? Now, in the last few moments of the podcast, I want to reiterate something. Psychological operations. CIA is PSYOP Central. FBI is their minions. Well, they kind of work together, you know. They kind of shake hands and go, what's going on today? Oh, really? Okay, cool. Pretty much. And it's kind of odd that you have a Federal Bureau of Investigations when they don't investigate the bureaus of the federal government. And it's kind of odd that you have a Central Intelligence Agency, but they don't have agents that intelligently or search anything out. Because if they did, they would have the federal provost marshal go into the White House, go into Congress, and arrest each and every single one of those people and throw their asses in Gitmo, including the president and vice president. This is why, if you look in the last 6 years, 7 years, 6 years, something like that, you will see that President Obama aligns himself with and circles himself with people that he knows are going to toe the globalist line because his bosses have told him so. Get this person. His advisors are nothing more than, I'm going to say this, information peddlers. They don't know what's going on. They're told to tell the president, hey, tell him this, tell him that. Well, okay. Why? Don't ask questions. Just tell them that. Whistleblowers have come out in the Carter and Ford administration years ago, back in the 80s, and I remember listening to this, by the way, or back in the 90s, excuse me. Whistleblowers have come out in the 90s saying that, yes, when a person is elected president and they walk into the Oval Office, 3 or 4 people come in with briefcases and suits and sit down near the president saying, hey, great, congratulations. Yeah, we heard what you said on the campaign trail. It's great that you got elected. Now here's what you're really going to do. Okay? How many puppets have we had in this government called presidents? How many have we had? It's a cycle, folks. It's a cycle. Here, let me show you. 1960, Senator John F. Kennedy, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, elected to president. He's president-elect. He goes into office. He starts pulling down all of these strongholds around him, exposing all of these things, hiring his brother as attorney general. And I'm sure they had a few arguments in the Oval Office as well. And he tells the rest of the government, here's what you're going to do. You're going to take the money off the Federal Reserve and put it back on the Treasury and make it a Treasury note and give the Treasury back the printing press. November 22nd, 1963 kind of changed all that. Lyndon Johnson, who had a tremendous amount of investments in the military-industrial complex, when, by the way, President Kennedy wanted to not go to Vietnam. Well, all of a sudden, boom, here it is the following year after the Vice President, Lyndon Johnson, becomes president, that we have this little situation called the Gulf of Tonkin, which got us into Vietnam. Go back and do the homework. He does not run for a second term. Okay? Because he finished out President Kennedy's first term, he then has his first term, and he does not run for a second term. Okay? Then this little gentleman by the name of Richard Milhous Nixon runs for president and becomes president. Let me connect some dots for you, folks. 1958-59, a group of 40 were confronted, or I should say approached by another group of people saying, we need to do this. Here's what we hear in the chatter, that if Senator Kennedy becomes president, here's what's going to happen. Well, guess what? He wasn't supposed to be president, folks, because the people that actually run the government, that run Washington, D.C., didn't want him as president because he did exactly what he did when he got into office, and they didn't want that. So guess who debates him? Yes, folks, another future president. Richard Milhous Nixon, the Gang of 40, which, of course, was part of the conspiracy, quote unquote, two or more people getting together doing something nefarious. But he lost. Do you know why? Oh, by the way, some experts have come out and said President Kennedy did rotten in the debates, did terrible in the debates. Do you know why President Kennedy won? Joe Kennedy, his father. And somebody who was very popular of that time in the entertainment industry by the name of Frank Sinatra. Now, we can go back and look at all that and examine that. That's a whole different show on itself, but I don't have time to go into that. 1968, Senator Richard Nixon becomes president. In 1974, resigns because he got his hands caught in a cookie jar when he ordered the break-in of the Democratic National Committee at the Watergate Hotel. Go look it up. I remember seeing the hearings. I was 10 years old at the time, or 12 years old at the time. I remember those hearings because I watched them every morning. Now, let's cruise on up a little bit. He quits. Ford becomes president. Senator Gerald R. Ford, who happened to be one of the senators on the Warren Commission investigating the murder of John F. Kennedy. He finishes out his term, does not get reelected. Why? Because this little unknown tiny person, governor of, I don't know what he was a peanut farmer before becoming governor of Georgia. Another little puppet to take the distraction off, or to take the, I should say, the focus off of what was happening 10 years prior to all of this, 10 to 15 years prior to all of this, because, word was getting out now. So they installed, yes, not elected, selected, installed this little unknown governor of Georgia by the name of Jimmy Carter. Okay? They thought, well, this will take the focus off of that. Yeah, it did for a while, for about 4 years, until this other person came along by the name of, who was it? Ronald Reagan, former governor of California, former actor of Hollywood. And from what others have said, had some friends on both sides of the species. They say he was gay. Okay, he was bisexual. This is what they were saying. They understood this in Hollywood. They knew this. They didn't. He was, you know Hollywood back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. You know all that. You can just do your own homework and figure that one out. 1 + 1 still equals 2. But they put this man into office. They selected him to be in office. Why? Because, can you say, controlled opposition. For 8 years, this man was in office until another former CIA director, I shouldn't say another, this former CIA director came along and became president, who happened to be, allegedly, in air quotes, at the door of the hospital on the day that President John F. Kennedy was murdered. His name is George H.W. Bush. Can we connect the dots a little further? Yes, we can, because I only have a few minutes here. George H.W. Bush. Boom. There you go. 1 term. Guess who comes up next? Clinton. Okay? Boom. He goes 2 terms. He knew every intimate detail about Osama bin Laden. By the way, Osama bin Laden and the bin Laden family worked closely with the Bush family over in the Middle East. How do you think those military bases were constructed so fast? Clinton does his 2 terms. Boom. Who comes after that? The son of George Bush. That would be George W. Bush. And he knows all the information. He gets all the information about bin Laden, about, everything. He gets everything. By the way, 1993, little exercise in the underground garage at the World Trade Center. A truck bomb blows up, and guess what? Whistleblowers come out later on, and in an interview, the person that did it said, yes, the FBI set me up. The FBI, folks, okay? Go look this up. 8 years later, September 11th, 2001, boom! They succeed. The government succeeds in their plan to create a false flag to get us into war. Why? We haven't had a war for quite a while, but they get us into war. And they blame this person by the name of Saddam Hussein. Well, guess what? He didn't do it, folks. Neither... I don't know where to go from there. And from that point, the rest is history. So you can connect the dots from there, folks. It's not a conspiracy theory, it's a fact. It's all about the PSYOPs perpetrated by the CIA, which is PSYOP Central, period. And they worked with other countries such as Britain and Russia and all these other places, including the Middle East, to get this done. I would even go as far as saying that Israel had something to do with it, but I won't, because you can connect the dots on that one. Because I'm not sure, so share with me. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. Now, I'm going to go away because I have some things to do, and the Views Expressed Live is taking a hiatus of sorts, and so we will be back at some point, and I will let you know. But in the meantime, enjoy this podcast. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, even if you disagree with me, I'd like to know why. Prove yourself right. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. Liberty is the path. Freedom is the goal. Talk to you later, folks. This is the American Liberty Radio Network.